Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, North Dakota voters had a ballot measure on the 11th of June, and it was potentially putting in an age limit on on people in Congress. So, supposedly, you had to retire from Congress before you turned 81. So basically, I'm gonna read the entry paragraph of this said a ballot measure. North Dakota voters will decide whether to impose an age limit on members of Congress from their state. If the measure passes and survives any future legal challenges, it would ban North Dakotans from being elected or appointed to Congress if they turned 81 by the end of the year before their term expired. All three current members of North Dakota's congressional delegation are younger than 70. So, yes, all three members, being the two senators and the one representative at large. I believe that's Armstrong. I don't know. But yes, they're younger than 70. I believe they're pretty young, but yeah. Yeah, you got Kevin Kramer. You got, I believe, Kelly Armstrong. And one other guy. One other. From North Dakota. Okay, John Holden. All right, yes, John Holden. So I have bad news for them, but they're out. They can't serve till they're 81. I don't think anyone who thinks they're going to serve in Congress when they're 80 past 81, you're crazy. Because first off, you need to have respect for the office and kind of have some humility towards yourself. Like, for example, hey, you know what? Put your ego aside. You did a lot of stuff in Congress, but every congressman has to go, right? Every congressman has to go. You have to give someone else a chance. And when you're old and when you have health problems, things go slowly, right? Things go slowly. You take a lot of time off. That's not tolerated in Congress. You got to look at how Dianne Feinstein performed in Congress. Things were slow for Democrats with Dianne Feinstein. And I understand, yes, this is, as you know, U.S. Congress. And same thing with North Dakota. I think North Dakota is being very smart here. Dianne Feinstein had to take a month off of Congress, and because of that, Democrats didn't get anything done. Democrats couldn't get anything done, and as a result, I think Republicans scored some victories in the Senate without her, especially in different caucuses, which resulted to a 50-50, no, not 50-50, yeah, 50-50 split without Dianne Feinstein making the majority. So, yes, you'll see that causes a lot of problems. It's not just because of your party. Really, we kind of need you there, the American people, because we want to get things done. The American people wants to get things done, and we want to know answers. For instance, is that bill going to be a yes, or is that bill going to be a no? Okay, is that bill going to be accepted, or is that bill going to be rejected in the Senate? And even in Congress, right? Even in Congress, we need you there. Even in the House of Representatives. So, yes. Let's see. We can obviously say that Renville County was the more enthusiastic for the yes. 70% of residents in Renville County voted yes. 397 people to be exact. The no vote didn't win any counties, but if you would say what county did they do best in, it would be a tie between Stutzman and Sargent counties. So that would be Sargent right here by the South Dakota border. Stutzman is right here, close to Bismarck, in between Bismarck and Fargo. I would say Stutzman did the poorest, was more closer to the no. But yes, it's important to realize Stutzman did vote yes. So majority, 60% of North Dakotans said, yes, we kind of agree with that perspective. You're in the U.S. Congress, as you know. That's a very big honor. But because this is the U.S. Congress, this is a federal office, this is one of the most powerfulest branches of the country. This is what makes the country's laws. You need to be showing up every day. And if you can't show up every day, you need to resign. Sure, the reasons why you can't show up, like Dianne Feinstein's reasons, for example, her health and her hospitalizations, that was legitimate, but realistically, she should have resigned. She should have resigned and went to a retirement home. A lot of people say that's mean to say. No, it's the truth. Retirement home, we make that sound very negative. Like you're incompetent, you need to retire. Well, it's true. I mean, really, it's true. It's kind of elder abuse when we have expectations for a 90-year-old. Take Chuck Grassley, who is 90 years old, serving in Congress, the U.S. Senate, right now. Dianne Feinstein just passed. Like not even 9 months. I would say 9-10 months ago. Over 9 months ago. And we have Chuck Grassley. He served in the U.S. Senate the longest than anyone, believe it or not. He served longer than Mitch McConnell. And Mitch McConnell should retire too. We have a lot of old people in U.S. Congress, and that's not to demonize older Americans. No. It's because we need you in Congress. And it's best and easy and fair when we just say, hey, we need all Americans have to be below the age of 80 or in the 70s or below the age of 80 to serve in this office. Just like we have restrictions when we say, hey, you need to be 18 in order to vote, you need to be 16 to get your driver's license, you need to be 21 to drink. Yes, supposedly we're restricting younger Americans. But at the same, because younger Americans are learning, right? They're learning. But when older Americans, you slow down. And when you slow down, you sometimes put other people in danger. Take driving, for example. I'm not saying, should we pass a ballot measure to force older Americans to terminate their driver's license at the age of 80? No, I'm not saying that. But then again, I'm not going to be against it. It is what it is. But let's be realistic here. If you're 90 years old and you're driving, and because of your health problems or just be trying to, as you know, you're trying to comprehend. Very older Americans have a hard time comprehending. They take things in very slowly because you're being more slower. You're on the road. You're potentially going to put someone in danger. You're potentially going to put someone in danger, someone in risk. Is it worth it? So when you're sure, we want to respect older Americans' rights, right? We want to make sure, and they do have rights. They have inalienable rights. But just like we have younger Americans, we don't let them drive when they're 10 years old. We don't let them drive when they're 6 because we're supposedly saying, "Hey, you're not ready yet. You're not mentally competent." If we could get away with saying, we're basically implying that to 6-year-olds and 10 years old, we should be able to imply that to older Americans. And I'm not saying they're mentally incompetent. No, of course not. I'm saying, hey, you know what? You're slowing down. You're slowing down, and when you're on the road, you need to be alert. You need to be reactive. Reactive meaning if someone ends up pulling in front of you, what are you going to do? What's your reaction? What's your response? A lot of older Americans will realize that, and they have to, and it has a hard time registering in their brain, and they just keep on driving. That's not safe. So, I'm supposedly releasing my views on what I think about older Americans. I'm thinking, you know what? Yeah, I think when it comes to U.S. Congress, they need to step down because we need you there. Dianne Feinstein, Chuck Grassley, I think he's showing up. I think Chuck Grassley's pretty healthy, but eventually Chuck Grassley is going to go crashing down one day, and his health is going to fall apart because he's 90. Okay, let's be honest. He's 90. I mean, who serves in Congress when they're 90? You go crashing down and you take days off. And this is something that Republicans need to be concerned about because without Chuck Grassley, Democrats are going to be getting a lot of stuff done. So, yes. And then it's going to be Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell isn't going to show up. And then, who knows? You don't have to be 90 to start falling apart, you know? You could be any age in your upper 80s. I guess the point is when you have a medical emergency, there's nothing U.S. Congress should do. There's nothing Congress can do about it. They're not going to, I mean, they can scold you. Hey, you should let's be real. You have a medical emergency. You need to get that taken care of, right? But then at the same time, you should be showing your concerns about what's going on in Congress, and you should be applying how you can help your side and your party during your absence. How you can still help. Supposedly tell people, "Oh, get better, rest. You need to rest." Yeah, but in U.S. Congress, you gotta have one eye open. You have to have one eye open and know what's going on in Washington without you. So yes, I think North Dakotans made a great decision, a very smart decision. I support this decision. This is bipartisan, I can pretty much tell. This is bipartisan, and it is bipartisan. It's pretty much common sense versus not common sense. Should you serve in U.S. Congress? when you're 99 years old. Does that make sense? No. You need to be in a retirement home. And supposedly electing people that are 90. And I'm not saying, okay, maybe electing people that are struggling, like Joe Biden. Supposedly he's running for re-election in November. This guy can't remember how his son died, where his son died, and I don't even know if he knows where he's buried. I don't even know if he. Okay, maybe it's going too far, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. This guy meets up with dead people. This is senile behavior, and he's commander-in-chief of the country. Smart voters and voters with common sense would say, hey, I don't like Trump, but I think it is wrong to participate in this and voting for Biden. This is elder abuse, and it is. I'm going to stay home. And believe it or not, I think that's what a lot of Americans are going to do. I think Trump is polling great with American people, but in the reality, there's going to be a lot of Americans that don't like Trump. And as a result, but I think those Americans that aren't Democratic Party NPCs, because I don't even call them Trump haters. They're just GOP haters. They're NPCs for the Democrat Party. They do what they're told. The Democrats say jump and they say how high, even though you're pretty much they tell you to jump how high. They go how high, even though you're literally in a car or a bus or in an elevator. They'll jump if they tell you to jump. They're NPCs. They do what they're told, and they don't even apply common sense. They don't even apply reasoning. Vote for Joe Biden. He's dying, and he should be in a retirement home, but vote for him. Okay, we're not even going to ask why. Why are we voting for Biden? Okay, because he has a D by his name. There's no reason why we should ask. So yeah, guys, it's all about doing the right thing in November. Democrats are saying do the right thing and vote for Biden. Well, here's the thing: do you think putting an older man, sending him around, voting 4 more years for this man Joe Biden, who doesn't know where he is, he's meeting up with dead people, who doesn't know how his son died, and basically he's having episodes, and you're sending him around the country, sending him around the world, meeting with world leaders that are starting wars, and we're counting on this guy to negotiate with our opponents? Common sense. Let's be honest. That's not going to work. So that's why I strongly believe, and I continue to believe, that a lot of Americans aren't going to vote. Critics of Biden and Trump aren't going to vote. They're just going to say, we're not going to vote this year in protest of the nominees selected. They don't like a Biden-Trump rematch, they're not going to vote. And the Democrats know that. That's why they're panicking, and that's why they're indicting Trump. And that's why they're going and crying threat to democracy, but that's not going to work. Because supposedly Joe Biden is a threat to democracy, because how can you uphold democracy when you're that old and you're that incompetent and you're meeting up with dead people? How can you be the defender of democracy when you're like that? How? So really, it's a toss-up. But yes, once again, great decision that North Dakotans made today. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.